fascinating facts about the FA Cup. Here we go. The first FA Cup final was held at the Kennington Oval in London on the 16th of March, 1872. The Oval is now more famous for being a cricket ground where the England team often play. The Royal Engineers team played in the first final and lost 1-0 to the Wanderers. The FA Cup final has been played at Old Trafford 3 times. In 1911, when Bradford City beat Newcastle United. In 1915, when Sheffield United beat Newcastle United. And in 1970, when it hosted the replay between Chelsea and Leeds United, which Chelsea won 2-1. Sir Bobby Charlton played a record 75 consecutive FA Cup ties for Manchester United between 1958 and 1973. Arsenal were fined £250 for fielding weakened teams in the league games in the build-up to the 1936 FA Cup final. Bill Shankly rejected a request from the Beatles for tickets to the 1965 final, saying, "I've never seen the Beatles standing on the Cobb." West Brom were the first team to win the FA Cup with a team made up entirely of English-born players in 1888. Arsenal have lost 6-0 in the FA Cup 3 times, to Sunderland in 1893, to Derby County in 1899, and to West Ham United in 1946. Blackburn's Jimmy Brown was the first player to score in 3 consecutive finals from 1884 to 1886, winning all 3. Aston Villa's Charlie Wallace was the first player to miss a penalty in the FA Cup final against Sunderland in 1913. Jimmy Spears, who scored Bradford's winner in the 1911 final replay, went on to receive the Military Medal for bravery in the First World War. Only one player has ever appeared in an FA Cup final wearing glasses, and he was a goalkeeper. Jimmy Mitchell sported specs for Preston in 1922, but, ironically, never saw Billy Smith's spot kick that was blasted by him and gave Huddersfield the trophy. Mitchell also earned 1 cap for England, and yes, he's the only 3 Lions player to have donned eyewear too. When Blackburn Olympic lifted the 1883 FA Cup, one ungrateful fan is said to have described the trophy as looking more like a tea kettle. But it's very welcome to Lancashire, said Rovers skipper Squire Warburton. It'll have a good home and it'll never go back to London. He was right too. That particular trophy was stolen after being won by Aston Villa in 1895. The 1923 final will forever be called the White Horse Final, courtesy of Billy the Nag, who helped us title a startling estimated crowd of 300,000 at a brand new or old Wembley. Around 1,000 supporters were said to have suffered injury attempting to enter. The match was halted 11 minutes in after a crowd surge, and half-time lasted only 5 minutes as players couldn't reach the dressing rooms. Since the Football League's inception in 1888, who are the only non-league side to have lifted the FA Cup? Well, that win arrived in 1901, courtesy of Southern League side Tottenham Hotspur, who beat Sheffield United in a replay at Burnden Park. No player has ever topped Sandy Sheffield United pulled off the most famous FA Cup giant killing of all in 1972, when Ronnie Radford's rocket helped send Newcastle United back in round 3. The winning goal scorer is usually forgotten, though the previous night, Ricky George, pal of a 26-year-old commentator that day, John Motson, had bumped into Toon icon Jackie Milburn, who told the Bulls hero in wait, "If you were my player, you'd be in bed by now." George replied, "If I come off the bench and score the winner, no one will mind." Brought on after 83 minutes, George watched Radford smash home the leveller within 2 minutes, then hit his extra time bobbler for the ages. The 1996 final is best remembered for Liverpool's dodgy white suits and Eric Cantona's dramatic goal. But the winner of the day, Neil Ruddock, after the game, his teammate John Barnes had swapped shirts with Manchester United's match winner. But Razor Ruddock later relieved him of the memento and sold it at auction for a cool $15,000 in 2013. John Hawley Edwards lost an FA Cup tie in the most unique and demeaning fashion. On the toss of a coin, in 1873, his Shropshire Wanderers team twice drew 0-0 with Sheffield after a second goalless 90 minutes at Shrewsbury Racecourse. Both sides retired to the Raven Hotel, where after dinner Sheffield's skipper Harry Walker Chambers called correctly for it's the only time in 150 years that an FA Cup tie has had to be settled in this manner. When Liverpool battered Brighton 6-1 in their 2012 fifth round meeting, the Seagulls contributed to their own downfall with a hat-trick of own goals. Midfielder Liam Bridget accounted for 2 of them, though Lewis Dunks was the most calamitous. The defender controlled the ball with his chest, then knee, before herring after it like a wobbly toddler as it bounced over the line. 2 speed records. The fastest recorded goal in FA Cup history came in 2001 via Ashton United's Gareth Morris against Skelmersdale United. Timed at 4 seconds, the quickest hat-trick came just 2 years earlier in 1995, when Andy Locke spent a mere 2 minutes, 20 seconds dismantling Troylesdale for Nantwich Town. Nottingham Forest also held a record that will never be broken. They're the only club to have played a FA Cup tie in all 4 home countries, having pitted their wits against Northern Irish side Linfield Athletic in 1888. Linfield are the only outfit to have played an FA Cup match on Christmas Day. Meanwhile, stuffing Cliftonville 7-0 in 1888. In 1885, Scottish outfit Queen's Park beat Nottingham Forest 3-0 in an Edinburgh replay before falling to Nemesis Blackburn in the final for a second year running. They're the only Scottish club ever to make the final. By 1877, the SFA had banned all of its teams from entering. Lord Arthur Kinnaird's 9 outings in FA Cup finals remains unmatched, but Ashley Cole's all-time haul of 7 wins triumphs the Old Etonians' 5. Kinnaird holds another record though, this one a tad more unwanted, as as the scorer of the first own goal in a final. It came in 1887 while keeping goal for Wanderers against Oxford University. He held the ball but inadvertently stepped back over his goal line. His team ended up winning 2-1 anyway, but thus followed some rather unruly hokey-cokey. The FA expunged Oxford's goal before it was restored in the record books. Years later, Kinnans became FA president, a role he held for 33 years, and took home the tournament's second trophy. Dennis Law once bagged 6 goals in a FA Cup tie for Manchester City at Luton in 1961. It would have been a cracking day for the Scot had the torrential rain not led to the game being abandoned after 69 minutes. When it was replayed, Luton won 3-1. Ruud Gullit was the first non-British manager to win the FA Cup. Ruud Gullit became the first non-British manager to win the FA Cup when the Chelsea defeated Middlesbrough in 1996. The sexy football advocate proved to be something of a trailblazer, because since then, non-British managers have won 23 of 27 FA Cup finals. Alex Ferguson, Harry Redknapp and Brendan Rodgers are the only British managers to lift the FA Cup in the 21st century. The team with the most defeats in any FA Cup final is Manchester United. Defeats in recent times to Arsenal, Chelsea twice, and Manchester City are simply examples of one big side battering another. It's the shocks that stand out, results that would have defied the football odds of the day. In 1976, nobody gave second-tier Southampton a prayer, but a succession of chances were missed by the heavy favourites, and the Saints snatched a late winner. Didier Drogba has scored in the most FA Cup finals. For just short of a decade, Chelsea's talismanic striker, Didier Drogba, was the king of Wembley, scoring in 4 FA Cup finals under the arch, and winning the league at the National Stadium in 2014-15. Although in the shadow of his Munich heroics a few days earlier, Drogba scored and played a pivotal role in Chelsea's 2012 FA Cup win, just 2 years after scoring the winner against Portsmouth. Welsh striker Ian Rush holds the title of the most goals scored in FA Cup finals. Ian Rush won 3 FA Cups in his career and scored in all 3 finals. The first to come at the expense of Liverpool's City rivals Everton, Rush scoring decisive braces in each match. His 5th and final FA Cup final goal came in the 1992 clash with Sunderland, which Liverpool won 2-0. Arsenal have won the most FA Cups, winning 14 in their club history and winning 29% of the FA Cups up for grabs in the 20th century. Since changing from Newton Heath to Manchester United in 1902, the Reds have appeared in 18% of all FA Cup finals. They have appeared the most in finals of the FA Cup, having made it 20 in the historic cup. No other manager has won the FA Cup more than Arsene Wenger, who won it 7 times as manager of Arsenal